It's been a little bit of time since I posted a video. I just came back from New York and that's how everyone feels about it. We're all really excited. Now that I'm home, I unfortunately recognize that I filmed no content for Reels, TikTok. Cal, that's enough. Good job. Oh, so close. Anywho, I have no idea what I was talking about before we were so rudely interrupted, but moral of the story is this is a meal prep for weight loss episode. I am going to be prepping breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I work pretty solid hours during the work week, and as you all know, I have a second job on the weekends, so I like to meal prep some stuff in advance just because it gives me a little bit more opportunity to stay on top of eating healthy. If I don't cook my meals in advance, I will eat Chipotle, Indian, sushi. Next thing you know, I've spent like $300 on takeout and I've eaten like way more calories than ever necessary. So this is really helpful for me because if I don't pre-cook my meals, it's really unlikely that I'll make them during the week, just because I'm so busy with both of my jobs. And it keeps me on track for my health and financial goals. So with that, let's get started on making our grocery list. Okay, so I've just finished making my grocery list and I start by writing down every single ingredient that I need for the recipes and then going through my pantry and making sure that I don't have any of these things and crossing them out if I do. So for instance, overnight oats, I already know I don't need a recipe for it, but it's oats, milk, strawberries, and chocolate chips. So I wrote those 4 things down and then now I'm just gonna see how many oats do I have? Do I have enough? I know I already have some, but then this way I'm not just constantly buying a bunch of stuff that's just collecting dust in my pantry. The meals for this week are going to be strawberry chocolate chip overnight oats, caprese salad bowls, which are just chicken, cherry tomatoes, mozzarella balls, quinoa, and I like to add greens, so I usually add arugula to that. Greek meatballs, I'm gonna serve that with like a little bit of pita, and then for dessert, yogurt and fruit. So now that I have made my list, I'm gonna go through my pantry. Now that I have my list prepared, I am going to clean out my fridge and my pantry of anything that's old. That way I have space when I'm ready to bring my bag in and unpack all of my food. Okay, so now that the fridge is clean, I am grabbing my bag and my little cart. Luckily, I live right on top of a grocery store, so I'm gonna head downstairs and get to shopping. Okay, I'm back from the grocery store. Did I spend more than I intended to? Yes. Did I buy things that weren't on my list? Absolutely. But let's do a quick haul. So, raspberries, that's for like yogurt at night. Cherry tomatoes for my caprese salads. This is parsley for the Greek meatballs. Yogurt for a tzatziki that I'm making. Tomatoes, strawberries for overnight oats. Baby kale to go with my caprese salad. Tates because I'm not a lunatic. I got some pitas. They're like pita pockets. I thought that would be good with the Greek meatballs. Lemons, again, for the tzatziki. Cucumbers. I also got some peaches. They had peaches and I thought they looked great. Would you like a bag? Come back for the other when you're ready, Grandma. I got 2 bottles of wine. I couldn't help myself. some kombucha that I've been craving, panko for the meatballs, some salt because I was running out of like fancy salt, oregano, I bought it in like the bulk section, flour, this is for the meatballs, just to get them like a crisp, I guess, red onion for the meatballs, oak aged vanilla, which just, ice cream, which just sounds incredible, chocolate chips for yogurt and berries, mint for my Greek meatballs, feta cheese for my Greek meatballs, quinoa for my caprese bowls. I like to do like a mix of quinoa and a vegetable. Mozzarella balls for my caprese bowls, and then meat for my meatballs and chicken for my caprese bowls. So all in this, because I went to a fancy bougie all organic market, was $143. So a little more expensive than I would have liked, but I'm hopeful that some of these snackier things last me a while. And also, like, I got some good staples, like panko isn't gonna go bad anytime soon, flour isn't gonna go bad anytime soon. So hopefully there's a little bit of longevity in some of these items as well. So now I'm going to get started on cooking the meatballs. While the meatballs cook, I will make the oats. Oh man. Honestly, I don't know why I chose this world's tiniest cutting board. That's as fine as that. Technically, the recipe is 2 garlic cloves, but I don't know anyone who actually listens to that. So now that those are in the oven, they should cook for about 30 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna get started on the overnight oats. This recipe is super simple. You've heard it 1,000 times. It's equal parts oats and milk. And then I like to add 2 to 3 strawberries and a pretty good sized handful of chocolate chips. Now I'm making some tzatziki to go with the Greek meatballs. honestly, I'm pretty excited about this. So I was able to squeeze 3 meatballs into each pita half. I'm gonna put a little bit of kale, some tzatziki, some tomatoes, and some cucumber. And now we're gonna go taste test. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning and I am going to have my overnight oats. I'm so excited. They are going to be so delicious. I made about 30-ish, 35 meatballs last night. So I have plenty to last me for the rest of this week. That I think is going to be for mostly dinners. And then today at lunchtime, I will be prepping the quinoa and the chicken for my caprese bowls. That I typically like to cook on the same day that I'm going to eat the first meal. That way, at least when I first cook it, there's a fresh quinoa, fresh chicken to have with my lunch. So we will have breakfast now. I'm going to make myself a coffee and then we'll get into lunch. All right, it is officially noon and I'm getting a little bit hungry, so I have the oven preheating to 375. I'm gonna get my chicken prepped and start my quinoa now for caprese bowls. So for this recipe, I like to do chicken thighs just because they're easier to reheat in my opinion. Like, they don't lose their texture and dry out. I also think they're 1,000 times more flavorful. So I have all my chicken thighs here on my little sheet. I'm gonna cover them with some olive oil, some balsamic, a little salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and then put them in the oven to cook. So while the chicken cooks, I will also get the quinoa going. If you're not a quinoa fan, I guess you could do a different grain, but I really love quinoa and I like it in this salad because it gives a little bit of carb, but it's just like also a nice little texture and bite. I used to hate quinoa, but now that I feel like I know how to cook it, it's completely different. So I usually do about 1 part quinoa to maybe 1 3/4 to 2 parts liquid. So you could do water, you could do chicken broth. Today I'm gonna make mine with water just because I don't have chicken broth. So I'll do that. Maybe put like a little pat of butter in there too. And then I cook that. You bring it up to a boil and then turn down the heat, put the lid on and cook for 15 minutes. So I'm gonna get that started now. All right, lunch is made. I'm gonna eat that while I drink a Synergy kombucha, and maybe for a snack later, a cookie, or maybe I'll cut up some cucumbers. You'll notice that the food that I'm making is not by any definition like low calorie food. I'm not eating only salads. I'm not skipping carbs. I'm not measuring things. I'm literally just eating what feels good and eating as natural of food as I can. Really, for me, eating healthy is about having meals prepared. I think a lot of times we get so caught up in what those meals are that we don't recognize that just having a prepared meal ready for you is inherently healthier. So while I'm not necessarily eating foods that are like, I'm not drinking greens, I don't have like a protein smoothie, I'm not counting calories or tracking macros. I'm strictly just eating what feels good and giving myself as many opportunities throughout the day to choose a healthier option because that's what's already prepared, rather than trying to find something easy and potentially filling that with Shake Shack, Chipotle, Indian takeout. Eating for weight loss is all about making sustainable choices. I personally find that I'm more likely to lose weight and maintain my weight loss if what I actually do with my food is just eat more healthy foods. So instead of pulling out foods, like you saw, I had ice cream for dessert last night. I bought cookies. I'm not depriving myself of anything, but I'm filling myself up with more greens, more whole grains, more healthy foods that like my volume has increased, so I have less space. When I want to eat a cookie, I end up only eating one instead of 5. When I want to have ice cream, I have like a scoop instead of an entire tub. It really boils down to making sustainable decisions and fueling your body. My meal plan is really just about finding ways to make smart choices every single day so that I don't have room in my daily life to decide to reach for something that is unhealthy or that is highly processed. Do I still eat out? Of course. Do I still have takeout? Of course. Do I still have Chipotle? Of course. But this is about not having that every single day and having smarter, healthier options every single day. That way it's not a matter of ease, it's because I actually want to eat it. I don't know why Chipotle is on my mind, but when I eat Chipotle because I'm too burnt out to cook something, it doesn't hit the same, it doesn't feel the same. Whereas when I eat Chipotle because, I've been craving it, I've been thinking about it all day, I really want it, that's a totally different energy that you're bringing to your meal. For me, having food around the house that's prepared and ready to go and only requires at the most 5 minutes of additional prep, that's a huge game changer. I'm far more likely to take the easy route of just eating the food I have in my fridge than walking all the way to Chipotle. I will link all of the recipes to the meals that I made today down below so you can follow along if any of the meals that I ate looked good to you. But just remember that, you can't eat what one other person eats all of the time. And my body's different than your body and my goals are different than your goals. So just remember to eat things that you like and just to add more volume of greens and, healthy fats, healthy proteins, because that's really what's gonna sustain you. Doing something rather than restricting and pulling back, add more greens, add more whole grains, add more satisfying foods throughout the day that are good for your gut health, good for your, body and your energy and your muscles. And that's what's going to help. That way, when you do reach for that cookie, you only reach for one. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. It was really fun for me to make. I love cooking and grocery shopping. As weird as that is, I love a good list. So grocery shopping kind of hits that sweet spot for me. So by all means, let me know if this is something you would want more regularly. I'm happy to share all of the different recipes that I use for weight loss or to dive into a little bit more of my philosophy around eating for weight loss. Again, I'm not the skinniest person in the world. My body might not be your body type that you want or that you have. But, I've lost 15 pounds and I'm continuing to lose weight. And I just think it's important to see that, not everyone's what I eat in a day is going to be green juice and avocado toast and, that sourdough from the farmer's market and the eggs from the chicken that lives down the street. We all can't be supermodels as much as I spent the majority of my youth dreaming of that. So it's really just about what's a sustainable plan for you. And this is what works for me. I hope you have a fantastic week. I loved this episode. Hope that you did too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, literally everything. Please follow me on Instagram. I would love to see you there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and I will see you next week.